Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hi, my name is Krishnan. I'll be doing the Hindu news analysis for the day. These are the 5 articles that we'll be seeing for the day. Let us move to the first article. So the first article is about China naming a few regions in Arunachal Pradesh. So what they have done, they have given official names for 11 places in Arunachal. So China calls Arunachal Pradesh as South Tibet or Zhangnan. So this is in Chinese. So currently these areas are under Indian control only, but what the Chinese have done is they have given Chinese official names. So the names are in Mandarin, which is spoken in China, and Tibetan. So they have also given the latitude and longitude marking. And what's worse, they have renamed a place very close to Itanagar. Itanagar is the capital of Arunachal Pradesh. So Chinese have done these things. So this is not the first time they are doing this. This is the third time they are doing this. In 2017, they did this once because India had invited Dalai Lama to Arunachal Pradesh. They did that once, and again in 2021 they did it. So what does India stand? So India clearly says these are all invented names. Even if you invent all these names, it will not alter the reality that Arunachal Pradesh is, and will always be an integral part of India. So this is India's stand. Recently, the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson had said these things. So just have a look at this map. So this is Arunachal Pradesh. So Tibet is part of China. So India has accepted it. Tibet is an integral part of China. India has accepted it, but China is telling Arunachal Pradesh is southern Tibet. So they are staking claim for Arunachal Pradesh. So why Arunachal Pradesh is very important? Because there's a place called Tawang here. So Tawang is very important for Tibetan Buddhists. So just like how Lhasa is very important, Tawang is also very culturally it is very important for culturally it is very important for Tibetan Buddhists. So Chinese want Tawang. So now let us analyze what are the factors behind Chinese naming these places like this. Earlier, the Indian Army tried to in around December, Indian Army rebuffed the Chinese Army's attempt to overtake a post in Yangtze. So where is this Yangtze? It is in Tawang. So and recently, what India did, G20 is going on, right? Summit is going on throughout India. A lot of delegates have come. So in Itanagar, in Arunachal capital, an innovation technology meeting was held. So a lot of foreign delegates came to that place. So China was irked by that decision. So the Chinese embassy even boycotted this event. So all this shows the lowest point in the Sino-Indian relationship. So a lot of talks are going on, but the situation is going downhill. So since 2020, there are problems. So in certain places, there are disengagements. So in Daulat Beg Goldi, for example, both the army went back. There are disengagements, but nothing fruitful has happened so far. But Chinese only started this issue out of nowhere. They are starting this problem because everything started in Galwan. It is because of Chinese incursions only. In these areas, so far there have been no problems at all. So, but so see, there are engagements with the army. So army is disengaging, but in the political side, we cannot see any solution at all. But you see, there are regular foreign ministers. Foreign ministers are coming and talking. You see Jaishankar, Foreign Minister Jaishankar going to China, and Foreign Minister of China coming to in India. And recently, even in G20 summit in Indonesia, we saw Modi and Xi Jinping talking to each other, but nothing has been fruitful so far. So also have a look at Arunachal Pradesh's map. You might have a prelims question from Arunachal Pradesh. So there are a lot of passes here. There's a pass called Bomdila pass, so you keep all those in mind. So what this editorial is telling is it's high time that the government tells the public what negotiations are going on. See, we've been talking for 3 years, but nothing has happened. So, so first they're telling you tell the public what is happening, and next you analyze the reason behind the Chinese behavior like this. Why are they doing like this? Only if you know why are they doing this, you can come with a response to Chinese reaction. So Chinese are reacting like that. Only if you know why they are reacting like this, you can come with a clear-cut response. So this is what this editorial is about. Let us move on to the topic is about what are the problems that Indian government is facing with respect to economic issues and what are the solutions that are available. Let us go to the topic. So Indian government is grappling with three economic challenges. What are the first challenge? So inflation, interest rate and exchange rates. So government has to deal with these issues. Next, they'll have to negotiate with bilateral and multilateral trade agreements with different countries. Because very often you see when you have this bilateral and multilateral trade agreements, you see the interest of farmers and workers is at stake. Let's say India is having a dairy product related agreement with New Zealand. What will happen? Indian milk farmers will be at risk. So it has to deal with all these issues. Third and the most important problem is it has to get its citizens secure employment and income. So these three are very important problems or economic challenge for India. So, but what do we see? We do not see any solution for this poly crisis, that is multi crisis. So, and no consensus on how to solve this problem also. One economist is telling, no, no, you see, if you let RBI be independent, you can overcome this problem. One economist will tell, you see, inflation should take precedence over employment because if you keep the inflation low, we can deal with other things. What one economist will say, no, no, you make the imports less costly for consumers. Next, what another economist will say, protection of workers' income only important. You give them a high wage, you increase their income, then everything will be fine. Like that, few economists will tell. But so they're telling there is no consensus on how India should deal with all these things. So first, let us look at China. So China followed the policy more investments means more growth. So this is actually true also, which happened in China's case. So China and India opened economy at the same time, exactly like 35 years back. Before that, both had same level of per capita income, same level of GDP, same technological advancement. Everything was same. But cut to 2023, what has happened? China has marched several miles forward, and even wages have become very higher, right? Because the cost of living might have increased, so wages in China is becoming very high. So companies are looking for other destinations because industries will look for people who can work for less money, right? But when they are looking for less wages, automatically you might think India is the right destination, but you are wrong. So where these people are going, they are going to Vietnam. So generally, we thought people will come to India, but they are going to Vietnam. Why? So what has happened? China and Vietnam are in a very favorable position because of their free trade policies. That is one reason. But what is the main reason is because before they opened up their economies to foreign countries, what happened? Both China and Vietnam had attained high levels of human development. So how did this happen? They educated their women. Healthcare was given importance. Infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, literacy level, everything went high. Then only they came to economic opening. So, but India did not do this. We are still having problems with healthcare, education, and at the same time, we open the economy also. So that is why they are telling Vietnam is a much more preferred destination. So who founded this problem? A Nobel laureate Amartya Sen founded this problem. So he said, first you do human development, then automatically economic development will follow. But Jagdish Bhagwati, who is based out of the US, he says, Professor Bhagwati, very famous professor, he says, first you do economic development, then all this human development and all will follow because once you have money, you can focus on these things. But what we have seen worldwide is first human development must be there. Then automatically economic growth will be there. So we must follow Amartya Sen's approach only. So right now, what are the problems that we are having with respect to economic policies? We are having problems with the root of the economic understanding itself. So the author is telling you strengthen the roots of the economic tree. At the same time, you should know to harvest the fruits also. So current method is telling too linear, too mathematical, and too mechanical. So economists living in their silos. So he's telling economists are not having an integrated approach. They're not seeing everything as a whole. They're seeing everything in a separate manner. Inflation, interest rate, employment, everything they're not seeing together. They're seeing it in separate method. So he's talking about a new area of study which is called self-adaptive systems. So in this self-adaptive system, this is talking about many forces of different sorts interact with each other. This is like human body, right? If you have to understand the human body in total, what you should do, you should understand different organs. So this self-adaptive system is like that. It helps you understand how different forces, different sectors interact with each other. So he's criticizing a theory called Tinbergen's theory. So Tinbergen is telling is number of policy instruments, but it must be equal to the number of policy goals. So that is why we have for everything we have one agency, one department. So this is according to Tinberg's theory only. So see here, so this Tinbergen's theory he led to independent monetary institutions for managing inflation, separate trade and industry specialists, environment manager, agriculture, everything we have different experts, but they are not integrated. So the author is telling this is a mechanical and linear view of how a complex system is work. So everything you are seeing in silos, this will not work. So it's telling in reality, if you take Indian society or any society, it is complex organic system. So root causes contribute to many outcomes, and these outcomes in turn again contribute to root causes. So linear means like this, right? It starts like this. But the author is telling this linear is a old method. He's telling you cannot explain a lot of economic theories and social realities through this linear method. He's telling a lot of things are cyclical, they are concept, and a lot of things are things reinforce each other. So he's telling beware of these complex systems cannot be explained by linear causes and effects. So he's telling this method is flawed. This method is flawed because this method became popular in one country. But now you are telling this one method can be followed in all countries. He's telling one size fit all will not work. So he's telling macroeconomics, they are doing a wrong thing. This method is flawed because always you are looking for global solutions. Because what worked in one country may not work in another country because each country's societal reality, historical reality, cultural realities are different. So the best example is 2008 financial crisis. So after the fall of Soviet Russia, what many countries came to a conclusion is throughout the world we can do one size fit all. That is the capitalistic approach. But 2008 financial crisis made them understand no, each country should have its own financial and capitalistic or economic methods. And in 2019 COVID crisis also we saw that one size fit all will not work. So he's criticizing this old method because in this people are just numbers. So economists have their software, they get their maps, they get their data, and they think what they tell is only right. They do not listen to real people. So, but at least politicians know what is the pulse of people. But what Indian economists do, they complain that bad politics is coming in the way of good politics. I'm sorry. So, what Indian economists are telling that bad politics is coming in the way of good economics. That is, they are telling Indian economics know very well what they are doing and what they are doing is good for the people, but bad politics is coming in their way. That is, politicians are hindering their mode of work. So, he is telling this is a flawed argument. So, finally, he is telling see this all these problems in India you are facing is because you are following economic theories that were invented in the West. So this method only caused a lot of problems. What is causing all this environmental problem is because the Western method of unsustainable consumption. So you're telling again why are you following all this same Western old redundant economic theories? You do not follow this because even in West they have left all these methods and they are looking for new methods. So he's telling whatever problem we have in India right now, we need new solutions for this. So a new policy, economic, new study itself is required, which will see everything in a integrated manner, in a cyclical manner, not in a linear manner. So what is happening in the West? A change in the old perspective is blooming. Where they found in the West only they found all these methods. In West itself they stopped following all these things. But Indian economists are following the same Western methods. So the author is concluding saying, Indian economists should take a look at what is happening in the West. See, they are changing their model to deal with a lot of economic problems. So you have a look at it, and you not just have a look at it and learn from them. You take a lead in forming all these new policies. So the crux of the argument is, so it's telling we need new economic policies and models, but don't follow Western model. Look for new models, because in West itself they are coming with new models, and you also work on coming with new models. Indian economy should take the lead so that all sectors of economy can be looked into. So this is what the author is trying to tell. Now let us move on to the next article. This article is about queer activists fighting for marriage rights. So you all know homosexuals do not have marriage rights. That is, two homosexual people cannot legally get married. So there are a lot of cases that are going in the Supreme Court right now, and even the union government has told that it will not accept. It will not legally recognize same-sex marriage. So why is it in news? Because on March 12th, the center filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court frowning upon same-sex marriage. So it is telling that it is not in favor of same-sex marriage. So it invoked the accepted view doctrine. So what is the accepted view doctrine? That is, marriage can happen only between a biological man and a biological woman. And there is a age-old notion or tradition in India that marriage between a man and woman is holy, it is sacred and sanskar. So the government is telling the same thing. So, but what a lot of judges are telling, that see, you discuss all these things in parliament, do not bring it to the court. So this is not something for the judiciary to look into. You discuss all these things in parliament and you come to a conclusion. But what is very shocking is, recently many retired judges gave an opinion that they are against same-sex marriage because it will strike at the very root of the family system. So this is very shocking. We expect judges to be progressive, right? But they have come up with something very regressive like this. And what the law minister has said, law minister is saying, we don't want to discuss all these things. You leave it to the wisdom of the family. You leave it to the wisdom of the people. So this is this is not how you deal with things, right? So the author is telling it is unfortunate that the government feels queer people. So who are queer people? So LGBT people, these are only queer people. So literally queer means strange, different, like that. So they are calling themselves queer. So he's telling it is unfortunate that the government feels queer people will wreak havoc on social institutions. So let us see what are the arguments against same-sex marriage. So first they are telling, see, if you legalize queer marriage, it will destroy society because family is the fundamental block of the society. So here the author is asking, see, what is this notion? What is this idea? Why are you thinking all these rights and all? Heteronormative society, that is, heteronormative means heterosexuals. So that is the norm in any society, right? Heterosexuality is the norm. So that society is called heteronormative society. So he's telling, why should all the rights that are naturally available to queer people should be given by heteronormative people? Marriage is something that is my own right, my own right. Why should someone else give it to me? Like that, queer people are asking. So that is why the author is telling, see, queer people deserve equal rights as cisgender people. If two cisgender people can marry according to their own wish, why not queer people? So he is telling like this. So equal rights. See, he's telling, I don't want equal rights, not just in marriage. He's telling queer people need horizontal reservation, protection from families, because very often homosexuals are attacked by their own family members, brothers, fathers. So they're telling, see, we are also citizens of this country, right? So whatever rights other citizens getting, we should also get. Like that, the author is telling. So next is, marriages have religious genesis, right? So a lot of marriage will take place according to religious rituals. Marriage itself came because of religion only. So in Hinduism, what is the role of marriage? Hinduism tells marriage is sacred and holy. But once the concept of divorce was introduced in the Hindu Marriage Act, marriages ceased to be sacred. So right now, according to the Hindu Marriage Act, marriage is just a status conferred by law. It is no longer sacred and holy. So this is a very important viewpoint. So, and if you read it with the Supreme Court verdict on Sabrimala, what the Supreme Court said, religion must give way to constitutional morality. So, whenever there's conflict between religion and constitutional morality will precede. But the author is telling, see, queer relationships are not aberrations in Hinduism. That is, Hinduism is not against queer relationship because there are plenty of examples in Hindu Itihasas and Puranas to support queer relationship. So next is addressing the question: is marriage only for procreation? He's telling if two gay people get married, how will they have children? Because marriage and union of two people is for procreation only, right? So if two gay men cannot procreate, why should they get married? But the author is asking, let's say one heterosexual couple is getting married, and later they are deciding not to have children. In that case, would you illegalize the marriage of the heterosexual couple? No, right? So that is what he is calling social or circumstantial infertility. So social or circumstantial infertility mean both the parties are aware that they'll not be able to procreate, and still they get to the relationship. This is called social or circumstantial infertility. If two gay men or if two lesbian women very well know that they cannot procreate and then they get married, it is their wish. We cannot go and tell you cannot procreate or you don't get married, like that we cannot tell, no. So this is an important viewpoint. Then a lot of people say conventional type family means one father, one mother, and two children should be there. This is only important. This is only the standard method. Like that, conventional type is there. But even this type is evolving, right? We are having live-in couples. We are having single parent households and surrogate mothers. Lot of things are changing. So he's telling when the conventional type of family itself is changing, why are you not allowing queer marriages? So he's telling there are other conventional type, other alternatives to conventional type families. What is the Gharana system? Gharana system is with hijaras, right? One hijara chief will be there, and she will be treated as she will be the mother, and all other young transgenders will be disciples. So that is Gharana method, which is a alternative to the conventional heteronormative family. And Maitri Karar, what is Maitri Karar? So one man, he'll already be married, but he'll do another marriage, but this will not be a marriage like a real sense. He'll just give financial support to the women and he'll take care of her. This is also not like a conventional family type, right? So all these things are already there in the Indian subcontinent. So why are you not allowing the queer marriages like that? The author is asking. So finally, he's telling marriage is not for a queer liberation. We are not asking for marriage because it will liberate us. He's telling there are genuine legal needs for us. For that, we need marriage. What are the legal needs? We need to file taxes jointly, property inheritance is there, open bank accounts, and nominees for insurance policies. For all this, we need legally recognized spouse. But since gay marriage and lesbian marriage is not allowed, we are not able to file have nominees for these things. So he's telling, please allow us, like that. He's telling. So he's telling, see, we cannot wait until society thinks it is acceptable for us to have rights. So this is very important. So next is telling, see, your idea of family and tradition is very small. You widen it. Family can be like this also. Two men can also make a family. Two women can also make a family. You don't think only your idea of family is right. And next is telling legal recognition of queerness and love should not be opposed by the state. Already society is against it, and state also should not be against it. This is what he is trying to tell. He's telling we not just want legal recognition by the state. We also want us to be celebrated because of the kind of stigma and taboo that goes around the sexual orientation of these people. He is telling we need to be celebrated, not just legally recognized us, but celebrate us because we go through a lot on a day-to-day basis. So this is what the author here is trying to tell. Now let us move on to the next topic. This topic is about the recently held United Nations Water Conference. So what is very special about it is this is the first achievement in 46 years. So for 46 years, they did not have any such conference related to water. So they discussed on a report called Water for Sustainable Development 2018 to 2028. So here the UN recognized the urgent need for action with regarding water. So what did they find there? They are telling the world is not on track to meet the 2030 SDG goal of water. So what is the SDG goal? Ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. So they found out that the world is not going to achieve this by 2030. So, so why this area is very difficult to achieve is because water sector is fragmented. So most of the water problems are local. So we cannot achieve a global solution for this. So let's say a lake is polluted, only people around the lake will be affected, right? So they are telling we need local solutions. So it is very difficult to mobilize global support for local problems. But what happened? UN Water Conference 1977, it was groundbreaking because in this first global action plan, so we have to act now. Like that, a conclusion was made. So what did they tell in this water conference held in 1977? All people, whatever their stage of development and social and economic condition, have the right to have basic drinking water in quantities and of a quality equal to their basic needs. So this is where the the need to give safe drinking water, it all came about with this recognition. So this led to global funding, and efforts were made to reduce the number of people without access to safe drinking water. But what are the challenges that we are facing of late? And right now we have accepted that we need to extend the services to undeserved population, that is people in rural areas, hinterlands, tribal people. Excuse. We need to give them safe drinking potable water, but at the same time we need to pay money for it, right? So already we are seeing such problems in Swachh Bharat Mission and Jal Jeevan Mission. One more problem is since we keep extracting too much groundwater, water level is going down. We are using too much water, and a lot of water that is coming out is contaminated. So why is this happening? This is mostly happening in places like Punjab, where this is due to agricultural pumping. Using bore wells, they are pumping a lot of underground water. So this problem is very high in northern India. So what is the only solution? They are telling pump less, use less water for irrigation. So to overcome all these problems, we need agencies and ministries to cooperate, because drinking water is no longer about just access, because a lot of other things are also involved. So where does the SDG focus on? It focuses on sustainable agriculture, industry, and natural ecosystems. But to focus on these areas is a bit of difficult, because we need to make tough political choice, and to make this tough political choice we need stronger democracies. So these are the problems. But what are the good things that came out of the conference? 713 voluntary commitments by philanthropic donors, governments, corporations, and NGOs. Even the Indian government, through the Jal Jeevan Mission, it agreed to give $50 billion to improve rural drinking water services. And in the technology front, what did happen? Specific innovations in wastewater treatment and new incubations for water management. So funding was taken care of, and even in the technology sector, wastewater treatment, new incubations are coming for water management. So these are the good things that came out of the conference. And what are the other things that they told in the conference? They are telling we need knowledge sharing and cross learning. So whatever case studies or examples that we have worldwide, they are telling we should share all those knowledge and cross learning. We should learn from others. Next, there is something called WI2 plus blueprint. So this is a UNESCO platform. So it addresses common water security challenges throughout major cities, countries, and things like that. Next, there was an effort called Making Rights Real. So these people offer to help marginalized communities and women. So, and they'll also teach women how to exercise their rights. So this is called Making Rights Real. And finally, we had something called Water for Women Fund. So what they'll do is they'll have mechanisms for more effective and sustainable water sanitation and hygienic outcomes for women. So these are the three efforts that were promised. So one is the WI2 plus blueprint, UNESCO platform, making rights real, and water for women fund. So just keep all these things in mind. So let us now move on to the next article. This article is about Lokpal. So why was this in news? Because recently, responding to a parliamentary committee's question, Lokpal has said that 68% corruption complaints against public functionaries were disposed of without any action in the past 4 years. So why was it done? All these things we'll see. So in the last 4 years, only three cases were fully investigated, and 90% of the complaints were not investigated because they were not in the prescribed format. So this is very silly, right? So Lokpal has given a method. Only if we give complaints in that method, they'll investigate. If it is not in the prescribed format, they'll not investigate. And one more shocking thing is Lokpal has said it has not prosecuted even a single person accused of graft till what is graft corruption. So far, they received 8,703 complaints, out of which only 5,981 complaints were disposed of. So, and 6,775 complaints were rejected for not being in the correct format. So, what happened? Lokpal said, sometime back they said, if the complaints received by the office, if not in the prescribed form, would not be entertained at any level. So they have this policy. I feel this is a bit absurd. So just because it is not in the format, they are not investigating serious allegations. So let us see what Lokpal has done for the last 10 years. So Act was passed in 2013. We all know what happened. There was India Against Corruption movement by Anna Hazare, and as a result, Act was passed. So who is the country's first Lokpal? It is Justice Pinaki Chandra Ghosh, who was appointed in 2019. So the act was enacted in 2013, but the first appointment was made in 2019 only. So right now the acting chairperson is Pradeep Kumar Mohanty. So why was Lokpal established? It was established to promote clean and responsive governance. So they want to act as an enabler rather than an inhibitor. So inhibitor means people should not be afraid. Oh no, Lokpal will catch us. That is not the reason. Enabler means they want to enable good governance, clean governance. So that is why Lokpal is there. So and finally, parliamentary committee said, see, even if it is not in the prescribed format, if the graft allegations are serious, please have a look at it. So this is what the parliamentary committee had to say. But let us see about Lokpal. This might come as a prelims question. So it is a multi-member body. One chairperson will be there and 8 members will be there. And chairperson should be Chief Justice of India or a former judge of Supreme Court, or an eminent person with impeccable integrity. So 25 years experience in anti-corruption. So 50% will be judicial members and the remaining 50% will be members from SC, OBC, minorities and women. So judicial member should be a judge of Supreme Court or Chief Justice of High Court. So non-judicial member should have expertise for 25 years in the matter of anti-corruption. So the term of office is 5 years till the age of 70 years. So these are very important with respect to the structure of Lokpal. So this might come as a prelims question. So now let us go on to previous year prelims question. So the first question is, how is NGT different from CPCB? So NGT established by Act, whereas CPCB executive order of the government. No, CPCB also it is a statutory organization established through Water Prevention and Control Act, and it gets its power from Air Prevention Control Act. So first statement is wrong. Second question is provides environmental justice and helps reduce the burden of litigation in higher courts. And CPCB promotes cleanliness of streams and wells, quality of air in the country. So this one is correct. So answer is 2 only. So what you should know, CPCB is also a statutory organization. India enacted the Geographical Indication of Goods Registration and Production Act 1999 in order to comply with the obligations of, this is a very simple question. This is a sitter. The answer is WTO. To comply with the TRIPS agreement, India came up with this act. So the answer is WTO. Let's move on to the next question. In India, state governments do not have the power to auction non-coal mines. Is this right? No, this is wrong. So state governments do have the right to auction non-coal mines. They are getting this power from the MMDA Act, Mineral and Mines Development Act. So this gives the power for state governments to auction non-coal mines, like sand mines and all are there, right? So state governments can auction those mines. So Andhra Pradesh and Jharkhand do not have gold mines. So this is also wrong. Andhra Pradesh and Jharkhand do have gold mines. So this statement is wrong. So Rajasthan has higher government. Yes, this is right. So the answer is 3 only. Among the following cities, which one lies on the longitude closest to that of Delhi? So this is a very difficult question, but the answer is Bengaluru. So that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked our content, please comment, share, and subscribe. You can also follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, and Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you again.